What's up, everybody? Watch your own air with Nick Dropper, the Nick Dropper podcast. And today we are looking at Thunderbolts first test screening reactions. I don't know, guys. Check it out. See what's up.
Channel. Today we have some really exciting updates about the Thunderbolts. If you are excited about this movie, this will get you even more excited. As we have updates about test screenings that have already happened for the movie, David Harbour, who plays Red Guardian, gives us an update, and Sebastian Stan, who of course plays Bucky, recently did an interview with Variety where he talked about the Thunderbolts, gave us a little bit more information about how he is involved with the Thunderbolts. And as
when I was growing up, the Thunderbolts came out. And they came out after, I want to say, the Onslaught saga. And basically, they were a group that was led by Zemo. And they faked like they were heroes. And they ended up getting the keys to the city. And as they were going through, some of them wanted to stay good guys while Zemo had this plan to take over from within, man. It's awesome. It was an awesome comic book, man.
As it turns out, he's involved in an incredibly big way. So for those who are thinking that he might not have that much screen time or might not be that important because he's supposedly a congressman right now, don't worry, he plays a huge role. And he also talks about the state of Marvel Studios and Kevin Feige and the criticism that Marvel has been getting lately. And lately, we have been hearing a lot about Marvel Studios kind of shifting around Phase 6, canceling shows, possibly canceling some movies, or at least postponing them until after the Multiverse Saga. But today, we get some really good news about the Thunderbolts all around and about Kevin Feige.
That's the team I remember.
Now, a lot of people do think that this film, the Thunderbolts...
Yeah, this is the team I remember here. You know, you had, I want to say Fixer. This is the Beetle. I think... this guy's name, it used to be Goliath, but it was Atlas. This is Songbird. Moon something. Can't remember her name, man. Maybe it'll come to me after this video.
Thunderbolts does bring a lot of risk to Marvel Studios. However, I think Marvel is pretty used to this, doing team-up movies. And granted, yes, these aren't your normal Marvel characters. They're not superheroes. Many of them have been actual villains in the MCU. But I do think that the characters, at least most of them to most people, are very interesting. Yelena Belova, Red Guardian, Bucky, U.S. Agent John Walker, and it looks like we have upgraded versions of Taskmaster and Ghost. And I personally really like a gritty...
Yeah, Taskmaster's awesome, man. Taskmaster's awesome.
The type of movie with not so good people. I actually really do like this team, but David Harbour does have a message to people. If you are kind of on the fence about the Thunderbolts, and this is where we also go into the test screenings that recently happened. In an interview with comicbook.com, speaking about the Marvel critique and the fact that a lot of people view the Thunderbolts as a risk, he said this. And again, this is David Harbour, Red Guardian. He said, making a movie, you can't really look outside for critiques because everybody sees the poster and they have an opinion. You're like, just watch the 2-hour movie. And if you still hate it, great. Love it, great. But like, you've got to give us a chance. I think all the speculation in the world is like my fantasies about dying or what. I mean, it's like you can fantasize about horrific things or whatever until you actually see the thing. Side note, it seems like he kind of confirmed the movie is basically a 2-hour film. So it doesn't look like we're going to have, say, a 2-hour and 30-minute movie, but at least it's going to be at the very...
Yeah, man, I like U.S. Agent, man. I guess, you know, when Marvel does this stuff, they have just different teams. You know, so I don't know what year they're coming in with this, but we'll just have to see what happens. You know, we'll have to see what happens. So
at least 2 hours. I'm sure he's just speaking generally here, but I'm sure he knows how long the movie actually is. But keep in mind that could change as they continue to edit it, especially after the test screenings. They do typically go back and edit a few things that they think could be better based on what people do say about it. But here's what he has to say about the test screenings. He states, I'm very proud of this movie, what we shot. I hear it's playing well internally, and I'm excited for people to see it. I think it's going to really surprise people. I think people have seen from the trailer, from the shots. I think it's a pretty cool direction of the MCU's sort of making now, and I'm excited to be a part of that. So he says that he's heard internally it's playing very well, meaning the test screenings that they have shown to people have went over really, really well with the audience. Now, if you're not familiar with how the test screenings work,
hey man, we'll see. We'll see about that because, hey, come on, man. Hey, they end up, they jack these movies up all the time, man. I think Thunderbolts will be awesome, man. But Disney has a way of jacking stuff up, man. They can't stop it, man.
typically Disney kind of just sends out emails to their employees from a lot of different branches, and they basically say, hey, do you want to come watch a movie? They do not tell them what the movie is, and they do not pick people specifically who like or dislike Marvel movies. The invites are random. That way they can kind of get a mix of many different kinds of people, some who like Marvel, some who don't like Marvel, some who are kind of in the middle. So they're just invited to the movie. They don't know what it is until it actually starts playing. So for some groups of random Disney employees who have seen the film, apparently they think that it's pretty good. And that is awesome because based off of what we have heard from some insiders, the Thunderbolts aren't going to be a one and done team. Maybe someone will die in the movie. Not sure about that. Some people are thinking that since this movie is kind of like the MCU's version of the Suicide Squad, perhaps one or maybe a few people might die. But recently, what we have been hearing is that the Thunderbolts will appear in Avengers Doomsday. And also, if you haven't noticed, the Thunderbolts logo now has an asterisk at the end. And apparently, according to some insiders, the reason that it has the asterisk on it is because they actually go on to be a part of the new Avengers team. And reportedly, that is what we are going to be getting in Avengers Doomsday. And this does make a lot of sense because even though they're kind of bad and it seems like Valentine...
Yeah, man. I mean, they got some good characters in here. They got some good characters. Zemo led the old team, the first one. I'm sure that it's been through multiple iterations since the time that I used to read Thunderbolts. I probably need to pick a new one up to see what team they are actually doing. I'm guessing they're probably going to go with this team of these people here, though. But, you know, there's some good ones on here. Bucky's on there. He's good, man. U.S. Agent's on there. You know, it should be good, man. If they don't jack it up, you know, if they stay pretty close to the source material, it'll be fine. But it's when they start deviating from it that it gets all wonky and stuff. And we know about their Disney's politics right now, so...
is kind of forcing them to do her bidding in this movie. I'm sure a lot of them really do want a shot at redemption, and what better way or what better finale for your redemption than to be with the new Avengers team? Even if you don't really like some people in a group when the whole entire multiverse is at jeopardy, for the most part, I'm sure everybody will understand that they have to unite to save it. Or specifically their Earth. When our Earth, the 616 Earth, comes into jeopardy and you have somebody as strong as Dr. Doom being the threat to Earth, that's when everybody really needs to come together. And that's what I'm really looking forward to, the culmination of kind of all of these different groups and characters that we've seen so far. But let's dive into what Sebastian Stan has recently said about the movie, about his character in the movie, and about Marvel overall. The Variety interview says that next year he'll anchor the summer movie Thunderbolts as the leader of a squad of quirky heroes played by, among others, Julia Louis-Dreyfus and Florence Pugh. And they state, it's easy to wonder if this has come to feel like a cage of sorts. Not so, says Stan. His new Marvel film was kind of like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. A guy coming into this group that was chaotic and degenerate and somehow finding a way to unite them. And that is actually what Sebastian Stan said. So he is going to be the leader of this new group. Bucky is going to be the leader, despite the fact that he's a congressman right now.
Yeah, Bucky was like, in the comic books, man, Bucky was always like Captain America was like if Captain America was like Batman from Marvel, which he's not, but you guys get what I'm saying. Bucky was like Robin. You know, so like Bucky was like Captain America's like sidekick, man. And you guys already know about this stuff, you know what I'm saying. So I'm not telling you guys anything you don't know.
Then when they asked him about how everybody is kind of critiquing Marvel right now, he said, it's become really convenient to pick on Marvel films. And that's fine.
Well, there's a lot to pick on.
Opinion, but they're a big part of what contributes to this business and allows us to have smaller movies as well. This is an artery traveling through the system of this entire machinery. That's Hollywood. It feeds in so many more ways than people acknowledge. Sometimes I get protective of it because the intention is really effing good. It's just effing hard to make a good movie over and over again.
Man, it ain't that hard, man. They deviate all the time from source material. A lot of people are like, oh, X-Men 97, how's that so good? It's so good because they don't deviate from the source material. The Witcher, that show was, I didn't really follow it hardcore or anything like that, but the biggest critique is they deviate from the source material. It's kind of like what they're doing with Wonder Man. No, like Wonder Man is an established character in Marvel. And I mean, you can't just change somebody's color and it's like everybody's just be like hunky-dory with it, you know? I mean, it's deviating from the source material. I don't understand why these executives don't understand this. I mean, it's very basic.
I'm someone who has witnessed Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige as the most selfless man on this planet, who, despite the enormous success he's had, has never changed or wavered. They legitimately spend so much time thinking, how could we surprise people and give people something different? His big motto is, the best idea wins. It just comes from a good place, and that's the only reason why sometimes I get protective of it, because the intention is really good. And the last thing that he says in this is something specifically to Marvel's critics. He says, keep an open heart, don't judge so quickly. So I love that he's fighting for his movie. I love that he's fighting for Marvel Studios, and I definitely know that Kevin Feige is a good guy who truly does care about what they create. Yes, some things aren't going to be a hit for everybody, and yes, sometimes things just might not pan out so well. Sometimes what they thought the audience might like isn't exactly what they would like. But the Thunderbolts is sounding really, really good, and simply the idea of the Thunderbolts when they announced it, I really liked it. I really liked the group of characters that they chose. I wish Zemo was in it, but what can you do? But as far as who we have right now, I think the potential is certainly...
Yeah, that's kind of crazy to me if Zemo's not going to be in it. I mean, I feel like they're already into a bad, like, I feel like they're starting off already wrong, man. Zemo was the leader of the original Thunderbolts, man. So I don't understand why Bucky here, other than the fact that he's been in these other movies. You know what I'm saying? You know, I don't know, man. It's weird to me. It's weird when Marvel and you know, Disney does this stuff. They get whoever in there and they just like get characters in there that has nothing to do with the history of it. I mean, is the Beetle character going to be in here? Is Atlas going to be in here? Songbird going to be in here? Fixer going to be in here? I don't know, man.
There for this to be a great movie, and it sounds like the test screenings have gone pretty well, according to David Harbour. And so far, everybody who's talked about this movie has genuinely sounded enthusiastic about it. Sometimes you can tell that the actors who are a part of a movie aren't exactly too excited because they know it might not be so good. But in this case, most of the cast seems genuinely enthusiastic and excited about what is going to be shown on screen. And the trailers that we've seen, and even the leaked trailers that we've seen, and hopefully we get officially released to the public soon, looks fantastic. It does look dark. It looks gritty. And I think a lot of people are really going to like it. But hey, we'll have to wait and see. But in the meantime, please let me know your thoughts about this in the comments down below.
What are you guys thinking? You guys excited about the Thunderbolts? I wish they would have Zemo in it. You know, he's like the leader of the original Thunderbolts. I don't know why they wouldn't have him in it. You could do some really cool stuff with him. I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess we'll just have to see what happens. I always get nervous when Marvel and Disney put something out that has a big backstory because it's like they just redo it. But it's like they completely disregard anything that has happened up until that point when it comes to the actual comic book fans. It's like they just, I don't know what they're thinking, man. It's like, it's crazy. It's like there's so many good writers at Marvel. There's so many good, like people that can tell stories. Like, I don't understand why they don't get like Chris Claremont in there to like be like doing all of these storyboards. I mean, the dude's like a freaking legend. He knows all of them. You know, I don't get it, man. I don't get it. If I was literally Kevin Feige, I'd get Chris Claremont. I get a team of them. Chris Claremont. I would do everything I could to get Jim Lee to come over from DC and just make crazy good movies, man. Like the Deadpool Wolverine stuff was awesome, man. It was an amazing movie, man. And people like, oh, what? It stayed pretty close to the source material. It told us a newer story, but it stayed close to the source material. We got to see Gambit. We got to see the Henry Calvarine. We got to see, you know, Lady Deadpool, you know, all of these great characters, and they were true to form, to the source material, man. That's it. It's that simple. You guys have a great day. You watch it On Air with Nick Java podcast. Be safe.